Hey everybody, Totally Tropical Todd here with your Tuesday morning update. So overnight, a couple of things have changed. There was an eye wall replacement, which basically means we had a really small pinhole eye in Hurricane Milton, and that's kind of collapsed as a new eye wall forms. This is a normal process for these really intense storms, and this is allowing the storm to grow to a larger size, but also slow down a little bit, as was predicted. The hurricane is still on track, heading towards, still predicted to make landfall right around Tampa Bay. You could still see now they've extended the hurricane warning now to the East Coast here. This red area. The projected landfall has shifted a few hours later, but basically this thing's coming Wednesday. It's going to hit, late, maybe late afternoon till late night Wednesday, early Thursday morning, move across, still looking to move across the I-4 corridor, and come out the other side as a hurricane. And let's just look at some of the updated graphics. Again, hurricane warning here, or what's the yellow is, sorry, tropical storm watch for much of the coast. Moving forward, one big change: the rainfall totals have gone up for specifically along the predicted path of this storm. So in the red here, you're looking at 12 to 16 inches of rainfall. In the orange, 8 to 12. So this area just north of Orlando, just north of Tampa, all the way through like Daytona Beach area is going to get inundated with rain. And they've upgraded this area for flash flood warnings to extremely high. So please, if you're in these areas, take precaution. Flooding is much more likely now. They're giving it over a 70% chance. Not much has changed tremendously with the storm surge maps, but again, up to 15 feet here in Tampa Bay, and they're looking at widespread storm surge and hurricane force wind damage across the entire western coast of the peninsula, with damaging winds and rain across that I-4 corridor, cutting through the center of the state, popping out, right around the Brevard, Volusia County line, and causing potential storm surges, especially to the north. So please take precaution. This is what we're looking at. Today is really your best day for preparation. Tuesday, we're going to have, bands of rain and wind like we always do ahead of a hurricane. But today is really the last day to do your preparation, because Wednesday we're going to be, the much of the peninsula is going to be getting hammered on Wednesday. So please take your precautions today. Board up your windows, evacuate, make those decisions, make those plans. Get out of Dodge, so to speak. If you're in this path, I really recommend trying to get out of it. Right? These storms are not as predictable as we would love them to be. You never know. The path we've got pretty narrowed down. The timing is we're getting pretty close on that as well. But the actual damage that occurs, if tornadoes are going to spin up, if you're going to get widespread flash flooding, these are things that, how high the wind gusts are going to get. These are things that are a lot harder to predict, those small variations within the storm. And that's really, aside from the storm surge, where that is very predictable. We know where it's going to hit. We, more or less, we know how large that storm surge is going to be. That's really predictable. But some of the secondary damaging effects from these storms are where, a tornado spins up and wrecks a whole block, whereas the next block over, there's not much damage. These things can seem random, and you don't want to be where random weather events are occurring. So if you can't evacuate, I highly recommend today's the day.